Okay.
Wow.
Well, that's what we want. We're gonna need that one because
Wow.
those are the kinds of stories there. Because unfortunately, there's nowadays for some folks the feeling of hopelessness is real, and they talk about we spend a lot of time talking about COVID brain, but COVID brain has led to things like COVID fatigue, pandemic fatigue. And with that, there's been a lot of depression that has set in. It's caused a lot of folks,
Absolutely.
reach a point where they feel that, life's not worth living. I just had a conversation with my uncle just a few minutes ago, and one of my cousins died this past weekend, and he said that the family didn't know that there was some serious illness in her life, evidently, and who knows what role that may have played in whatever happened to her, whatever caused her to have such a premature demise. Very young. She might have been in her early 40s, I would imagine, at best. But no, depression is a very real thing. So we want to hear about anything that would give someone a measure of hope when they've been told that there is no hope. So, in order for us to get started, let's get ourselves kind of set up here properly. My name is Jonathan Jones. It's my pleasure and my privilege to be your host and moderator for the evening. Today is November the 1st, 2022. I can't even believe I'm saying those words. It's November the 1st, 2022. And it's just about 5 minutes after 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. We have this conference call discussion every week. It's on Tuesdays at 7, Thursdays at 6, Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you're more than welcome to join us, or if you have a guest or someone that you believe could benefit from something that we're sharing on these presentations, just send them over. We'll send them back to you, ready to make a purchase or to try some of the products that could make a difference in their life. And we applaud you for being here, and especially if you're here for the first time. We're happy that someone thought enough of you to tell you about a meeting like this, and it makes us feel good. I'm Jonathan, Jeff Ashby, Rob Martin, co-host, Alfreda Strong, co-host. We're thrilled that you would think that there may be something of value that you could benefit from one of these meetings. So thank you very much for joining us. Please be aware, at the very beginning of our discussion, we have to let you know that the FDA has not evaluated any of these comments. We're not making any claims that any of the products or things that we talk about tonight should be considered as a treatment or cure for any disease. Only the government can declare a nutritional supplement to be a treatment or cure for disease. This is for information, educational, and sometimes entertainment purposes only. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. And what happens to one person may or may not happen to you. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. But the information that we'll share can be taken into consideration when making decisions about your health and well-being. So we encourage you to give that some thought. So I'd like to invite Jeff to share the spotlight here for just a minute. And he kind of just teased us there a couple of minutes ago there with this interesting testimonial that he's heard twice today. And again, testimonials are anecdotal, but and we will like to hear the actual live testimonial at some point, Jeff. So, but if you don't mind, tell us what you heard.
Yes, absolutely. Like Jonathan mentioned, it was twice today that this experience was related. I was part of the first one. It was a 3-way phone conversation. And then the last time I asked her, Dr. Goodman, to go ahead and share it on a Zoom that I was doing just prior to this. So just in a nutshell, a friend of a friend at church was talking about the microdaily. The individual got a hold of Dr. Goodman, and she says, I may not have time to wait for my order to come. Can I just drive over to your place and get some from you? So this is always a good thing to have some on hand. So So Dr. Goodman had the microdaily EMF, the brain boost, and some collagen. She says, I just did a transaction right there in my driveway, not really understanding the significance or the severity of it. But this lady immediately went to the hospital. She is trained as a nurse herself, so kind of knows a little bit what's going on. But he was so out of it, he being this lady's husband, that they had, and there's a technical term for it, but where he was being fed through a tube in his nose. Okay, so that was the only way that he was able to take up nourishment, because Dr. Goodman had talked about opening up the capsules and dumping them underneath the tongue. She didn't know that this lady was going to do what she did, but she started giving him the microdaily EMF. She would just open up the capsule, she'd open up the brain boost, and she would put a scoop of collagen in there with the rest of the nutrients that he was ingesting. And that's really the only way that they were keeping him nourished in any way. He'd been given 2 days. With a do not resuscitate. That's kind of where it was. If he stops breathing, just let him go. That 2 days turned into 2 weeks, and he started tracking people with his eyes. The feeding tube came out, and she started getting pushback from the doctors on staff saying, well, you cannot be doing this. You cannot be doing this. And so that was the phone call 2 weeks later to Dr. Goodman saying, can you intervene? And because they live in Georgia, Georgia's one of, I think, 5 states that mandates that you have to do everything that the patient's family wants done. And the way she described it was, you could scrape the mud off of the bottom of your shoe and insist that the doctors use that, and they have to. So I didn't understand that. I didn't know it. I thought that's pretty cool of the state of Georgia to be that involved in somebody's health. But here he is. She's now got him on the brain boost, the eye boost, the collagen, the probiotic, and her favorite, the microdaily EMF at 9 capsules 3 times a day. He is now going to physical therapy on his own. He's just up and around, and an entirely different individual. We're talking 3 weeks.
Wow. That's
now, once again, we should throw the disclaimer out there and say, this was just their experience, and this is secondhand, and I shouldn't even be sharing it. I'm just saying I've heard it twice today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got a couple of questions on this. We're going to disclaim it till until we're blue in the face. But I got a couple of questions here. So, why did the doctor want an intervention? Was this like a medical doctor? Or was this a veterinarian or something? I mean, what was the story with this guy?
I know this all started in somebody's church talking about the microdaily, and Dr. Goodman was called and got involved, and she was the one, Dr. Goodman, that actually sold the products to this guy's wife.
It's
and
incredible.
The guy's wife that knew enough that that's how he's getting his nourishment, is through this feeding tube that was going through his nose. And
how old, Jeff?
They must be older. I don't have a specific age, but certainly most of his time was spent comatose. And when it gets to that point, there's
very advanced age, had signed a DNR, and was pretty much out of it with a couple days left to live.
Yep.
And 3 weeks later is now in physical therapy.
Correct.
Well, okay. Wow.
You said you said you wanted a good one to start out tonight. I can show you the text, everybody.
Wow. That's That's
Jonathan
amazing.
says, if you have an interesting story to start with, that would be awesome. So,
Yeah.
you know what? It's
That's,
a story that I'm sharing secondhand.
yeah,
We
yeah,
we
yeah.
will get we will get the particulars, but that is Dr. Goodman, who is still a card-carrying medical doctor, and she was using terminology that just completely went over my head. But we'll we'll get her to come back and share
Okay.
the actual experience. So, okay.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing that one. Thank you very much. That's an interesting story there, folks. And please keep in mind, testimonials are purely anecdotal, and especially when they're second and third hand, because we don't know all the clinical circumstances surrounding that event and what happened there. But Jeff Ashby was just sharing with us what he heard, a story he heard being related by a doctor with regard to one of her patients. So, what's all the fuss about? Is it even remotely possible that a nutrient, when put in the body, could make that big of a difference and cause someone to their life or health to turn around? Well, I can tell you from personal experience. I mean, not my own personal experience, but my own clients, that we've had a number of cases where the doctors had said clearly that there's no hope. There's nothing that can be done. And the best thing is to just let the person go home and die with dignity. And I remember one case very clearly. This gentleman was in his, I think he was in his 60s, maybe 70s at the time. And he needed to have a bone marrow transplant. But because of his religious beliefs as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, he did not want a blood transfusion because they wouldn't do the bone marrow transplant unless his blood count had reached a certain level. So when he would not accept the blood transfusion to get his blood count up to that certain level, they said, that's it, there's nothing we can do. The doctor said directly to me, this is not hearsay or conjecture. He said to me, this man's bone marrow will never produce healthy red blood cells. And not only did that man not die in 2 weeks, he lived, I think he just died this past year. I mean, this is like 10 years ago or so that happened. He died this past year, and partly because he didn't think that the nutritional supplements were making any difference for him. He thought somehow the medication that he was taking had miraculously kicked in. The rest of the family knows the real story, but for some reason he believed that the medication is what was had made the difference for him. But that's just one of many stories of individuals who were told they had days, weeks to live, and somehow or another they continue to go on. How is this possible? Well, it's not because of anything miraculous, no miraculous knowledge on my part, that doctor's part, Jeff's part, anybody's part. It's brilliance on Dr. Prasad's part, yes, but the real truth of the matter is that in this case, the families found some daily nutrition, real daily nutrition. I was talking to my uncle today who told me that years ago, as a kid, his mother, my grandmother, had always encouraged them to take vitamins. He said the vitamins back then looked like kidney beans. He said that's the way that they would get their vitamins every day. And I don't remember these kidney bean size vitamins. So he's 10 years older than me. So that was a little bit in front of my time. But he said he's accustomed to taking these vitamins all the time. But somehow, in every case, something still goes awry, because throughout all of our lives, we reach a point where we begin to disintegrate, and disintegrate terribly, terribly so, miserably so. But on the other hand, and I think every one of us knows of a case, you can look around and see someone in their 70s, in their 80s or 90s, and even over 100, they're still out walking 10, 15, 20 miles, marathons. They're not spry like in their 20s, but they're still fully functional and doing all kinds of things. Why is it that some people begin to disintegrate in their 50s and start a downward spiral into disease and misery, whereas some people tend to live longer and healthier, fuller, more enriched lives? It could have something to do with identifying a good source of nutrition. We're at a point right now where we have found what has happened to the food that's been missing from our food. I mentioned that to my uncle today. I said, someone years ago decided to take food out of food. And he says, oh yeah, that's been well known that there's just no nutrition in food anymore. But we have it now. And we have it purely by accident because the United States government, the military, wanted to have a supplement that could be beneficial for soldiers on the battlefield. That's what it was. This is not what we're talking about today, this micro daily, and what Jeff bore attention to, that micro daily EMF and collagen daily. We don't have this because some company decided, let's go make the best vitamin in the world. That's not why we have it. We have it because the government decided that they wanted to formulate a nutritional supplement for troops. That's what it was for. That's what it was all about. That's the original purpose. So what you see on the right side of the screen, this is the original packaging right here. This is what it looked like. And it would fold in half and would fit right on the side of the soldiers' army fatigues right there. So this was the origin. That's the genesis of this product. Again, not because someone set out to make a product that was going to make millions and billions of dollars. That was not the purpose of it. It was simply for the benefit of soldiers on the battlefield. Now, from 2001 all the way to 2006, the process of getting through the government's pipeline of going from conception to approval for human conception took a number of years, as you can see. With that, here we go, 6 years of testing. And this part right here, 9 months of safety testing with the U.S. Military Internal Review Board. And part of that was proving that it would not contraindicate with any known pharmaceutical drugs. And the last interview that I did with Dr. Prasad, he touted 3 good nutritional supplements he felt, because of being 30 years as a professor of science and medicine at the University of Colorado, that there would be 3 specific supplements that could be added to the treatment for diabetes and could improve the efficacy of the treatment, could make it work better. And then he cited clinical double-blind placebo clinical studies to support his argument on that. So 9 months of testing, no contraindications with any pharmaceutical drugs. And this is the mind behind this formulation. And not only, as I mentioned, was he the professor of the University of Colorado School of Medicine, he was also a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee for the category of medicine. That's a big deal to be a part of that group. That's no small fry scientist that falls into that category. That's mainstream, top level scientists. Dr. Prasad was in that category. Could it be because he was the world's first radiation biology PhD? Could be. I mean, this is a scientist of the highest caliber right now. His products have been awarded 7 US patents. The United States government ponied up millions of dollars to do research behind the production, the formulation of the product, military micronutrient formula that became known as Micro Daily. The government spent the money behind that. Dr. Prasad has discovered a huge number of things that have scientific significance, not the least of which the fact that vitamin E succinate is cytotoxic to cancer cells. Vitamin E succinate, there it is. If you can see that, since I happen to just write all through it, that's really good for that, huh? Make it easy to see. Anyway, I think you get the idea. But Dr. Prasad has done all kinds of amazing things in his career. But it's his partnership with David Nemelka that has now made Micro Daily come to life and now come to the fore. Dr. Prasad, David Nemelka, the company Engage Global owns the formulation for Micro Daily. And this is the sole distributor for this product. There is no other company, no place else in the world that has this high level, scientifically validated, proven supplement, nutritional supplement. we call it a vitamin, but that's just such an understatement, because you think vitamin, you think Flintstones, or maybe you think, one a day vitamin. Those are vitamins. This is a supplement that's military grade. So really, that's the right way to say it. I was having a conversation with Dave Nemelka once. He says, I think we should just let the world know that it's a military grade micronutrient. It's the only military grade micronutrient in the world. I said, yeah, it's a really good idea. So that's where that concept actually came from. So an enormous number of benefits that come from microdaily. And as you can see from the story that Jeff told, we're going to share maybe one or two more in just a couple moments that really well illustrate what could happen in the human body if the human body was exposed to real food. If it was exposed to real food, what could happen to the body? Okay. Now, what's inside of it? Look at the list on the left side of the page. Vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B3, B12, CoQ10, alpha lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine, beta carotene. Looks like just a list of any ordinary supplements. It really does not look very impressive unless you know what you're looking at. If you know what you're looking at, you'll know that this is not a normal list. First of all, he bothered to put vitamin E succinate in the product, and that's the one that he discovered is cytotoxic to cancer cells. So as long as you have vitamin E going into your body, you might as well have the one that's going to be taking care of some cancer cells along the way. And then my favorite part of this is the N-acetylcysteine. There's a clinical study right now, valid clinical study right now that says N-acetylcysteine binds to spike proteins. I'm gonna pause right there. We just that right there in my mind needs a moment of silence. N-acetylcysteine binds to spike protein. Now, I didn't say it binds to the coronavirus. I didn't say it binds to SARS-CoV-2. It binds to spike protein. It doesn't care how the spike protein got in your body. You could have walked through the air and breathed it. You could have gone to a doctor or pharmacist and they offered it to you and you accepted it. You could have gotten it because of inadvertently you weren't wearing a mask or something and also got some spike. So there's any number of ways that spike protein by the billions could be in the body. N-acetylcysteine binds to spike protein. Now you may be saying to yourself, so what's the big deal? It binds to spike protein. Think of it this way. Spike proteins are floating around inside the body. And have you seen it on the news where just recently, in fact, it was last week, where there was a senator whose 17-year-old healthy daughter went out to dinner, came back home after spending some time with some friends, and normal life, no health issues whatsoever, just laid down and didn't wake up the next morning. Suffered what they believe was some sort of arrhythmia. And they also happened to notice that she had been exposed to large amounts of spike proteins in her body. They noted that. They actually made a comment to that effect. Now, there's clinical studies that show that the spike protein actually wants to be around the heart, and that it causes inflammation around the heart. See, the spike proteins, they're not just harmlessly doing willy-nilly. They want to bind to something that's connected to tissue inside the human body. And if they happen to bind to tissue connected to the heart, it could disrupt the natural way that the heart wants to work. And in fact, you might go to the state of Florida's website. They actually mentioned that in a certain age group, if persons are exposed to elevated amounts of spike protein, they have an 84% increased chance of sudden cardiac-related death. Cardiac. So that's what happens. So all the scientists who and this is, again, that's the government's website. Now, this is not some, conspiracy website. This is the official United States, state of Florida website. And the document is written by the Florida Surgeon General. And he is reporting on citing as a study, clinical studies that have been done showing this 84% increased risk of cardiac-related death because of spike proteins, okay? Because of the spikes related to SARS-CoV-2. So if you put something in your body that can bind to the spike, if it binds it, it can control it. If it can control it, it can get rid of it and remove it from the body as waste. That's why it's a big deal that it binds to spike protein. So I really want to emphasize that, because if you take this for no other reason, that's a pretty good reason to take it. And that's a pretty good reason. There's all kinds of reasons, but that's a pretty good one to take it right there. And it helps to protect the cells from free radicals and oxidative stress. I was really happy to hear my uncle tell me that one of the reasons he wanted to take this vitamin was because he knew the importance of controlling free radicals and oxidative stress. And he was happy to see that the claim to fame for this product was that it was able to help ameliorate free radicals and oxidative stress. So that's pretty good. So I'm happy to hear that. In addition, the microdaily EMF takes radiation exposure management to another level, because Dr. Prasad added in 4 more ingredients to the microdaily EMF that's not in the original to help our bodies deal with the onset of this 5G. And then there's several other products. This is one of my favorites, is the CBD, because it's very good. It binds to ACE2 receptors in the brain, another place that spike proteins would like to attach. So CBD, if you take one of these twice a day, you could actually be filling up some of those ACE2 receptors that the spike protein wants to latch onto, that's contributing to brain fog and COVID brain. So the CBD can actually help with that. The microdaily methylated, Dr. Prasad found out that some of us do not absorb B vitamins properly, and that has a direct bearing on our central nervous system. So the methylated formula was produced. Now, understand something, the EMF, the red bottle, has methylated Bs in it also. So it has all of that in it. The brain boost is outstanding because it's food for the neurons in the brain. This is good stuff. I take 2 of those in the morning. It's like I had a double shot of espresso. I'm really loving that. And the eye boost, I'm enjoying that more and more. My vision is getting clearer and clearer and clearer, or my computer is shifting into ultra high definition or something, but my vision is getting better and better and better. So I'm really appreciating that. And the last thing I want to share with you is just the result of this one clinical study right here, where these 2 rabbits were exposed to high doses of radiation, and this one was given the microdaily formula, and this one was not. They both died because of the high levels of radiation, but this is the lungs of the one here that did not have the formula in it, and this is the lungs of the one that did. So imagine you're being exposed to radiation. Can you imagine something having the ability to protect your cells like that? I mean, the one on the left, it looks like he's been smoking all of its life. Rabbits don't smoke, but I'm just using an illustration to describe, how the lungs look, basically. So, but anyway, you want your lungs to look like this, and so that's a good way to protect them. So on the same list of studies that were done, here's one right there that was done with Walter Reed Medical Center, diabetes protection, type 2. And here's a US patent that was issued for diabetes, micronutrient formulation for the treatment of diabetes mellitus. This should just be mind-boggling to you all. I mean, if you're hearing this for the first time, you no doubt have to be feeling the way that I felt the first time that I heard this, that how come nobody told me about this? Why has this been hidden from the world? And those are very good questions. Those are very good questions. And I think that those questions, it deserves answering. There's no doubt about it. And you should be able to get an answer to those questions, no doubt about it. But because it has been so hidden, and because no one knows about it, what that really translates into is an opportunity. So we may get a chance to talk a little bit about the opportunity in just a moment. But before I shift over to just discussing a couple of other things and sharing another testimonial with you, I want to show you this, because this to me also was somewhat earth-shattering that this exists. This is one of those patents I just told you about. And look at the title of this patent, though. Look at the title. Look carefully at the title of this patent. Micronutrient formulation, you see it? For pulmonary and heart health. Pulmonary and heart health. Just wrap your mind around that for a hot second. There's an article, besides the article that described this. You can Google this, by the way. You don't have to take my word for it. Google it. U.S. Senator's daughter died. Okay, so just do that recently. So that was like last week, maybe 2 weeks ago at the most, 17 years old. Heart disease is still the #1 cause of death in this country. Canada just reported 80, the count now is up to 80 young, healthy medical doctors that have died over the past couple of years for unexplained reasons. They have no idea. Why are healthy young people just dropping dead? So this really kind of, screams that if you're going to put something in your body, why not put something in your body that can promote heart health? Look at the words. They put them together. I didn't do this. The United States Patent Office did this. The word heart and health are put together. So just keep that in mind as we conclude our discussion right now. Okay, and we're going to answer a couple of your questions too, because I'm sure that some of you have some questions, or would like to share your own personal story about how you benefited from taking microdaily. But let's see if we can't share another testimonial or two with you first before we make that transition. And Jeff said he had another one for us, but on the off chance that he does not or is indisposed, the fact that it has such benefits, tremendous benefits on the heart, has always been a major deal to me. That's been just enormous to contemplate. And there's one story that I think that it would be nice to share with you again, especially again if you're here for the first time, that you may or may not have heard Jackie Gray tell her story. We're just going to play a portion of her story because it was just so significant. Because in her case, Jackie has what's called a mitral valve prolapse, and that can only be repaired pretty much surgically. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit so that it runs a little bit faster than she would normally talk. So we can just kind of let me just see if I can alter the speed a little bit here. Hold on. Okay. All right. We'll just let it play. Here we go.
And I was introduced to micronutrients I would say about a year ago. And my husband and I, we decided to take a look at it and do some research on it prior to even taking the pills. However, during that particular time, especially at work, I was under a lot of stress and my blood pressure was uncontrolled, unbeknownst to me. And I had to go in the hospital because I couldn't breathe. I knew prior to why I couldn't breathe, because basically I was in the hospital in 2017 with the same condition, but it was a little worse in 2000. No, it actually got worse in last March when I was in a hospital. I had to be hospitalized for it. The doctor came in and said that my injection fraction was 29%, which was not good. And then when we did our follow-up visit, my husband and I with the doctor, he said to us that it wasn't, good. That was not a good place to be in. So we sought out a second opinion. And from the second opinion, the doctor told us that what I had could be reversed. However, he thought it to be a mitral valve prolapse. The mitral valve prolapse, he said, if it was severe, I would have had to have open heart surgery. But if it was not severe, then medications would control it. Being introduced to micronutrients, we decided that we would try that along with the regimen that I was on. And I would say a month later, because I had to go to the doctor every month at this point. A month later, when he did the ultrasound on my heart, he said that, no, I'm sorry. He did the CTA, which is a CAT scan of the heart, so he can get a really good look at what was going on with my heart. He said that the heart looked like it had started to repair itself and that I did not need surgery. So that was the first good news. The second good news came the following month, when he said that now my heart looks like it was into full repair, whereas the first doctor said that the injection fraction would never repair itself, it would never reverse, it would only get worse, and I would have to only control it. But now with this doctor and with taking micronutrients, that's the only thing I can liken it to, because that's what changed in my life when I started taking that.
So I'm going to stop her story right there. She goes on to describe a number of absolutely amazing things from going on, not the least of which was that the doctor, as you heard, said that the heart was repairing itself. The heart had repaired itself. And she was very surprised at that, very happy. Her blood pressure was much better controlled, and her diabetes was controlled. And sadly, she said that her sister had the same condition and did not try to do anything with micronutrients. And she died just a year prior to that. In fact, it had not been 6 months before I had that conversation with her that she said that her sister had died. It was a very sad story. But just the same, there we have it. She believes, and again, testimonies are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. But she believes that there was a direct connection between her having access to the food that's missing in our food being put back in her diet. Then she was able to see additional benefits and results like that. Okay, so there we have it. So Jeff, did you want to share another story with us, or we're going to pause and take some questions here?
I was just asked if I could replay a testimonial from just last Wednesday night. Miss Roberta Rice came on, and it's one of your favorites. I agree right with you. So if it's okay.
Oh yeah, let's play Roberta Rice, because Roberta Rice said that story was 99 pills a week. I don't think so. Oh my goodness, that's just wonderful.
All right, so here she is. Yeah.
My family, my friends, relatives on here now, we all thank God for you and how you allow God to use you to bring health and wellness to the world.
Thank you.
In April, I had lost the ability to walk. Out of the clear blue, never happened to me before. My leg had swollen, and my knee My right knee was 3 times the size of my left knee. And then Brother Jeff asked me, I got on Dr. Piccola Roberts connected me with him, and he gave me a little remedy to do. He said, take Dr. Beside capsules and open them and mix them with organic coconut oil and make like a paste. So I opened all those capsules. I mixed it with the organic coconut oil. I rubbed it on my knee like Brother Jeff told me to do. I wrapped it in syringe wrap. Then I wrapped it in the first aid bandage wrap, and I went to bed. The next morning, I was able to get up and put my leg on the floor, which I had not did for April and May. I had not been able to do that. And then after 3 days, I was hopping on my leg. I was able to put pressure and hop on it. In less than a week, I was walking completely, no pain, no nothing. To the young lady, Linda Ross, I had dizziness. I was extremely ill with autoimmune disease. I used to be on 99 pills a week. And then the company ran out of what I was taking for 3 months. God allowed Dr. Piccola to call me, said she had been thinking about me, and I started to get choked up and cry. She said, how are you doing? I said, I'm very sick, and I just started to dump on her about my health. And yes, I felt dizzy. I kept taking it like she told me. Yes, I had loss of balance. I kept taking it like I was told. And so long story short, I wrapped my knee, and in a week, I was able to walk. 3 weeks later, my husband and I started going to the park, putting in 2 miles 3 to 4 times a week. No problems with my legs since. And if I had to, and have an autoimmune, the doctor says I would be on medication for the rest of my life. Like 99 pills, are you serious? I don't think so. So if I had to be on this for the rest of my life, my health is my wealth. And whatever I got to do, I'm going to do it, because a lot of times we wait until we get sick unto death. Because my husband and I was planning my funeral, and we wait till we get sick unto death. Then we want to try and hurry and take everything that we can take to help us. And so I'm doing good, no pain on my body. I used to have pain from head to toe, 24/7, no pain on my leg, no pain in my knee. Now both of my legs and knees are the same size. I'm so grateful for that. One last thing. The doctor told me when I come back that they were going to put me on diabetes medicine. My diabetic number was 6.8. And so she thought when I came back, I had my physical, and she said, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean? She said, your blood pressure is down from 150 over 90, over 120 over 70. My A1C went from 6.8 down to 5.4. Hello. And no cholesterol medicine. None of that, Dr. Prasad. I am so grateful. And the knee injection I was supposed to take, I called the doctor's office, canceled all of that. And all because of this and this.
Yeah. That's it.
Collagen. All because of that, those right there. And I have everything else now. I'm in great and excellent health. No diabetes medication or injections. Thank you.
Gotta love it.
I don't think so. That's just beautiful. No question about it. That's an amazing, amazing story. And again, folks, testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. You don't know the clinical circumstances around surrounding Roberta's condition, her situation. We don't know it all, but she, as you could hear, believes that just by putting the food that's missing from her food back in her diet and adding some collagen peptides to the story, that it's caused her life to turn around. So she's back in control of her life. So there you have it. But thank you, Jeff, for sharing that one again. So let's see if we can take a couple of questions here from some folks. There's a couple of names I don't recognize, a couple of folks that are visiting for the first time. They may have a question or two. One of the most common questions I know, Jeff, folks are wondering, how do I get this stuff? So you want to tell them how to get any of these products?
Absolutely. Just get back with the individual who invited you on to this incredible Zoom. Jonathan, the information that you went through when you're talking about the heart and what's going on. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's like if I didn't realize that this product existed out there and I was just hearing about it now, I would be saying, how do I get it? What do I have to do? And it's just a matter of getting back with the individual who invited you on here tonight. And I can tell you where I would start out when knowing what I know, making the investment in my health, I know that I have had the biggest return on doing the Dr. Prasad's Choice package. And I'm going to just pull it up here. Instead of me on the screen, you will see Dr. Prasad's Choice, the Micro Daily EMF, the flagship product, the probiotic boost. If you had to scrimp on anything, those two you do not want to be without. So it's the bottle in the back at the red label, and it's the bottle up front that says probiotic boost. Then you add in the brain boost, the collagen, and the eye boost, and that rounds out that whole package. And I'll tell you that $256.94 investment is going to pay huge dividends in your health, just like we heard from Miss Roberta Rice.
Yeah,
so that would be it.
Good. All right, that's a good. That's a common question there. Some other folks have asked, will this? What are the side effects be? What kind of side effects will I have from taking Micro Daily? Let's just start with that one.
Yeah, just better health. In almost 20 years of clinical use, there has never been a negative side effect.
Okay.
I mean, somebody might start out like Dr. Goodman said. She started out and started getting a headache, and she realized, because she's a doctor and she knows what's going on in her body, that headache was just symptoms of her body responding in a detox type situation. Once again, we're not talking about a health crisis or a healing crisis. We're talking about a healthy response. And she just knew that by taking a little bit more, it would just help the body. It would assist the body.
Very good. Very good. So,
or not taking enough water, or not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Drink plenty of water, and that'll take the edge right off of that. Some folks have felt a little fatigue, but that's all just normal Herxheimer effect, just detox reaction.
Or just it's your body saying, I need to sleep, because we repair, rebuild, and regenerate during sleep, not during the awake hours. So if you need to take a nap, just lean into it, do it, but don't nap sitting up in a chair.
Right.
I mean, get to where you are horizontal.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead and sleep. What if I can only afford the original formula? What am I sacrificing?
It's going to cause your body to work a little bit harder, because it now has to methylate those B vitamins. People who are really low energy, people who are going through some serious concerns health-wise, we need to give the body every bit of support that we can. And that's what Dr. Prasad's formula with the Micro Daily EMF has done, is that it's the methylated versions. You're also getting more bang for your dollar. It's 3 capsules. So instead of just getting 120, you're getting 180 capsules. So you're getting that much more product. So the $22 difference, calculate that out. It's less than $1 a day. And I do everything I could to go red label over the original green one.
Okay. All right. Very good.
And Jonathan, I know you and I had this very conversation. You're
Mhm.
saying, oh, no, I'm just happy. I'm just fine.
Oh yeah, I dug in. I'm just gonna make my confession right now. I dug in. Green bottle only. Never gonna budge. This stuff is too good.
And then you just went, okay, oh, purple. I'm just gonna go to the purple because the methylated makes sense to me. And
Well,
so,
once you
yeah,
start talking about the central nervous system, I like my central nervous system working the way it works. So if there's a chance I can make it a little bit better, I'm interested in that. This is it's just wonderful. So but yeah, and then I finally bumped on pass into the EMF.
yeah. And what did I say, Jonathan? You take more, you're going to make more.
Mm.
That's yeah. And what's happened to your business? What has happened to your business? Well, you are a walking testimonial. People can hear it, the energy that you bring, the excitement, the enthusiasm, your research into the things that you're presenting now have just taken on a whole nother level. And so those that have been around and can attest to that, Jonathan does better on the micro daily EMF, more brain boost.
And
More
I had
clarity,
I
more
had dismissed the
fatigue.
brain boost. I really dismissed the brain boost I said, oh, that's just a gimmick. I don't know. What's this Dave Nemelka doing with this brain boost thing? Woo. I will not do without brain boost ever again. No
There you
question
go.
about it. I got about a half a dozen bottles right over there in the box right now. So I will not run out. I take 2 in the morning and then I take 2 later in the day. I'm going to see what 3 will do tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So watch out, folks. So that's a very good thing. But no, thank you, Jeff, for making sure that these things have been made clear for us. Now, if anybody else has got a question, just raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm going to keep spitting out common questions that we get all the time. Well, Jeff, what's the most common question you get? What's one of those ones that, oh, wait, no, Alicia Holcomb, just raise your hand. I saw you there, Alicia.
Hi, everyone. I just had one question. I feel like I need the purple bottle methylated one. Can you take the purple bottle with the EMF every day?
So this has it all. This has the methylated in it.
All the
So
methylated beads are in the red.
So
is.
it wouldn't be like more in the purple bottle methylated. It's
Nope.
okay.
Same thing. You're just getting more value, but you might need to take more. Just like my dad's situation, he needed to take more of the micro daily EMF. But yeah, the green bottle is an upgrade. I mean, the green bottle is
The
original.
best is awesome.
Yeah, and then the purple is an upgrade because it's methylated. And then the red bottle is methylated and it has 4 additional ingredients and 180 capsules versus 120.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Very
You're
good
quite
question.
welcome. Thank you for your question, Alicia. Glad we caught you there. Roberta's got a question.
Hello, once again, thank you all very much for sharing that with my guests.
I
On here,
recognize
video.
that voice. All right.
Yes, I had a lady that just can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm reading her text while I have you on. I have a lady that texts me and she says, "Hey, Mrs. Rice, it's Miss Creasy." She said her mom has extreme swelling in both of her legs and feet, coughing that will not leave, and breathing problems with the cough. Says, I wanted to know if our product could possibly help her. This lady called me 2 weeks ago, and I don't pressure anyone in getting on the product, but I share my testimony. And so now she's desperate, like right now. So she asked me, what did I do? Now I'm gonna keep it real. When I heard Brother Jeff Dad's testimony, and he did 9 micro daily EMF in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night, I heard his testimony. So I did the same thing for 2 weeks. And so now I know what the instructions on the bottle says. Should I do the same recommendation to her mom? I mean, her mom was twice as bad as my situation because it was just one of my leg and knee, but it's both of her mother knees and legs. So I'm just
Wow.
wondering.
Well, it'd be
Good
interesting
question.
because we have Daryl Singleton's testimony, and he had just that. He has severe lung issues. He could hardly breathe enough to even speak. And then he also had swelling, and his gone
Both
black
legs.
in both legs. I've got, well, we're out of time, but I've
Yeah,
got,
we're out of time.
yeah,
But he didn't take the 999 dose. I think he just took maybe double. Do you think maybe it was like six
I think it
capsules?
was, I think it was six
Mm-hmm.
twice a
6
day to
capsules.
begin with. But I know that you can't go wrong.
It won't hurt to do more.
No, in fact, Dr. Goodman, that I started out talking about tonight, she wanted to make sure before she put any of her patients on to that protocol that she tried it herself. And so she did 9, 9, and 9 as a healthy physician, just to see what would happen in her body. And I thought, wow, what a great way to lean into it and know, because now she can speak from experience, just like you are, Roberta.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's what I'll recommend. I'll do the 6, 6, and 6, a recommendation. And then if she feels that she wants quicker results,
Step
because
it up.
that's when I got real quick results, like quick results when I did what I did. So I'm just grateful for these products. I'm grateful for you all's dedication and consistency to go after people and help them with their health issues. And I'm just grateful to God for Dr. Prasad and the other gentleman that works beside him in this business. I'm just grateful, and I thank you all again.
Already.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've hit the top of the hour, folks.
And I've got to run.
Yes, indeed.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for your hard work and your efforts in support of us. If you folks are here just for the health part of our meeting, this is the official end of our discussion right now. Remember, the FDA has not evaluated these comments, and this has been for information, educational purposes only. I don't recommend that you do anything I say because I say it, or Jeff. We're not doctors. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust, but you can take this information into consideration when making decisions about your health and well-being. So thank you very much, folks, for joining us. So we'll see you guys on Thursday evening at 6 o'clock if you have any guests. But don't forget, this coming Sunday is going to be a big deal at 5 o'clock. So you want to take a screenshot of this document. Let me see if I can show it to you here real quick, because you're going to want to take a screenshot of this and then post this on social media, get it out there so folks are aware of it. Because Dr. Prasad, once again, has put together a beautiful PowerPoint presentation to help us when it comes to determining whether or not this micronutrients can benefit pets and animals. Will there be an impact, a benefit there? So, okay, I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. Just 1 second. It's coming up right now. There it is. So just take a screenshot of that. You can also find this in your Engage Global app. So go to the section for Dr. Prasad events, and you can find this also there. And then you can share it through email. You can share it through text. You can share it on WhatsApp. The QR code takes you directly to it all. No, the QR code will take you to the event. So the QR code is for the Zoom. But in your Engage Global app, you'll find this invitation that you can circulate. So that's this coming Sunday, November the 6th at 5 o'clock Eastern time. That's 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Mountain, 4 o'clock Central. And that's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. All right, folks. So again, this is the end of our health and client discussion.